Welcome to the 315, where we explore all things good happening in Central New York. I'm Joe Lee. The Central New York food scene is on the come up, from the numerous food festivals to what seems like a new restaurant concept popping up every week. There's never been a better time to dine out in the 315. And with that comes countless influencers who want to help you navigate the food scene. Some of them are better than others. One of the better accounts is the Eating Club Girl, run by Alicia Cuadrado. Alicia's stated goal is to eat at every restaurant in her town so you don't have to. She shares her journey with us today on the 315. Alicia, welcome.
Thank you. It's exciting to be here to talk about the CNY food scene.
Are you born and raised in Central New York?
Yeah, pretty much. I lived a little bit in Tampa, Florida when I was little, but I was born here and then we came back in middle school and I've been here since.
Okay, cool. So it is your town. You know how much the food scene has grown over time. And I mean, to be honest, there are a lot of restaurants opening up, but it is a tough business. There's a lot of restaurants closing down. But it does seem like there is a preparation for growth or growth to come with all that's going to be happening with the arrival of Micron and other large manufacturing events that'll be popping up on the scene. It seems like we're preparing when you look at all the traffic, all the construction, all of that happening around us, that there's a preparation, and a part of that is the cultural scene in Syracuse. Would you agree with that?
100%, yeah. I think we're definitely expecting maybe an industrial boom here that we haven't seen in a long time. I mean, the construction industry, like all different industries, are really ramping up, and I think food scene is probably also following suit. So I have some thoughts on that, but
okay.
I'm sure we'll get to some of it.
So you started this journey with something called the Syracuse Eating Club. Talk a little bit about that.
Yeah, so the Syracuse Eating Club was an actual membership-based organization that I ran for 5 good years, and it was to help people meet new friends and explore the food scene. Really, because that's something I was looking to do. I had graduated college, and I realized, there's more to my city than I thought, and let me go explore it, and maybe other people want to do that too. So for 5 years, it brought me a lot of joy. I did end up winding it down just to focus on some more life things, but people came to do like paired tasting dinners, and we did special like menus with chefs, and it was a great way to kind of promote economic stimulation in Syracuse and also just build community around food.
And that was an actual coming together of people, not a virtual or
at
social
least
media
twice
thing.
a month. Members would sign up for our events and actually come out and be seated with maybe some new, maybe some familiar folk.
And what kind of participation were you getting?
Really good. I actually ended it at its height. I think we had about 130 paying members, so it was like a monthly membership. Wow. And it was something I think a lot of people really wanted in the community. I was sad to stop it, but it was a lot of work. I do think the government should sponsor something like that, hire a me to do something like that, because people want to be out there spending money and connecting with their community. So
yeah. So you developed the stated goal when you transitioned to the Eating Club Girl of eating at every restaurant in your town. I mean, that's
right.
I mean, I don't know if it's literal, but that is a lofty goal. And you have a wide ranging list of options, from the most terrible to the best. So are you really intending to try to eat at every restaurant? And how's it going? And where are you in the count?
That's a great question. I don't even know what number I'm on. Probably I think I'm in the late 40s.
Okay.
And I don't think I'll ever do it, but that was kind of the point of the series, is that it's probably not very possible to try every single one. But, I have to start somewhere. And after transitioning from the club, where picking my places that I went was very much involved with meeting the owners and talking to people about building events, I had to kind of figure out a new way to organize where I'm going to go and what I'm going to showcase. And that's kind of hard to do because you're like, do I go to the most popular places or controversial places or new? And I'm like, I'll just go everywhere. And that's kind of how I got going with that idea.
And you incorporate, instead of, it seems like instead of just picking a place to do an episode, it's woven into your life, because I know a lot of the episodes, you're going out with your husband.
Yeah,
right. And so you're probably just going out to eat anyway. And so let's do an episode on this place. Is that fair?
That is pretty much how it worked. And that's part of my strategy too, was because it can kind of take a lot of effort to plan content. And so I thought, we're always going somewhere anyway. Why not just anytime it's a new place, like new to us, just start recording, and that'll be another one on the list. So exactly right.
So talk a little bit about managing the trust factor between you, what you represent in terms of your opinion of a particular restaurant, and your audience, right? I mean, I think, I know when I'm looking at content provided by someone on social media that is sort of giving their opinion or review of a restaurant, I'm wondering, is there a partnership there that I don't know about that is going to lead this person to give a positive review, or can I really trust their opinion? So how do you balance that? I'm assuming you have some paid partnerships as well.
For sure, yeah. It can be a tough thing to kind of balance that, because I feel like as a consumer of content, I'm kind of geared to just think everything is a paid promotion, because nowadays everything is a paid promotion. So that can be the frustrating part about being on social media. And I feel like from the very beginning, I kind of started creating my sort of philosophy of just around how I want to represent myself and how transparent I want to be. So when I'm not sure on like how honest or how forthcoming to be about a restaurant, I kind of just go back to my philosophy, which is I want to share my experiences. A lot of why I do this is not because I think everybody is going to care about my opinions, but I'm just like a documentarian of my life. Like I'm a big journaler. I like to document. And so that's kind of it for me. Like I'm processing my experience through my content. And if that's still true to what I'm doing, even if I don't mention one thing that happened to be like burnt and horrible or something like that, I still feel like that's in line with like my philosophy of what am I trying to do here? I'm trying to give people a look into like what my actual experience was, and if that didn't ruin my experience or something, maybe I wouldn't show that. So I kind of just have my own philosophy around it. When it comes to disclosing paid, that also, I would say among content creators, I'm on the more transparent end, which nowadays the apps hardly even feature like the sponsored banner and things like that. So there's not a lot you can do to kind of differentiate from others who are not disclosing. But if I'm paid, I do disclose it. But sometimes I get like free food because the owners recognize me, or they realize while I'm there and they're like, oh, try this. And, I don't usually go in like, this is a paid thing. Like, I just kind of try to go back to my philosophy of like, am I giving an honest kind of recounting? Not everybody has to know every little detail of everything that I'm posting, but it's tough because some people might hear that and be like, that's so wrong, and like, that's not honest. But I think, another thing is I feel like when I ran the club, I kind of had some trust there too, because I knew hundreds of people in the community who's met me in real life. So that kind of helped too, because they're like, oh, I know you over many events. Like, I feel like, you're giving an honest effort to what you're doing here. So
because it's not a small audience that you're reaching. You're right now at about over 23,000 Instagram followers, over 17,000 TikTok followers. That's a pretty significant number of people absorbing your content and perhaps trusting your opinion on your dining experiences. And I have seen you list or talk about some things that just didn't work for you guys.
Yeah.
Does that ever blow back on you from the restaurant?
Sometimes, never too crazy. I've gotten a couple like truly crazy responses, but like over the past 6 years, that was probably 2 people. So no, and I feel like I'm not super harsh. So yeah, I hope it's
Yeah.
not received
No,
too
it's
badly.
it's always respectful, and I have seen some of your episodes where you actually disclose that there is a existing partnership, and so I can as a viewer treat that accordingly, right? I can, with a grain of salt, or I can trust the opinion, whatever. But I think you do a great job of balancing that out. Let's talk a little bit about the big event that's going to be coming up over the next couple of weeks, the New York State Fair. What's your strategy or recommended strategy for folks that want to eat their way through the fair?
Okay, I'll say my strategy, and then I'll say what normal people should do. So, I go in with like a very high goal of trying like as much as I can. So I know when I'm going into it, there will be things that I buy that are not going to be worth the money. And for me, that just makes my experience more fun because I'm going there to kind of like investigate what's going on and share with everybody. But I do hear a common critique for people like, every time I go to the fair, I buy something that like was so bad, I just threw it away, or like I feel like I got ripped off. Yes, that might happen because there's weird stuff at the fair, some new things that people haven't tried before. So if you're like me and you want to spend $1,000 at the fair, then, I would just say try as much as you can and you'll have a good time. But if you're more like a normal person, I suggest, and I'm not trying to promote myself, but I really suggest following content creators like me, because we're kind of doing that work for you, and you can tell from the video if I or somebody else really likes something, but you can see it doesn't look that good. I mean, you can make that call on your own, but what I'm doing is I'm going out there and trying to kind of do that legwork, and hopefully the best of the best is what makes it to you guys, and you can decide what to get. I would also say Syracuse.com does pretty good daily reporting on the fair. Like, I'm one person, and they have like a whole team of probably over 10 people every day doing reporting there. And I get some of my best tips from them as well. So, yeah.
Now, you're not trying to eat your way through the fair in one day, are you?
No.
You're going multiple days. Okay.
Yeah, I'll go probably pretty steadily for the first 3 days, and then kind of adjust from there.
And I saw where in your sort of lead up to this year's fair, where you recap last year and you give your top favorites and then those that you would recommend avoiding.
Right.
Is there something you're looking forward to this year that you haven't tried yet?
I've been asked this a few times already, and I'm like, there's nothing one in particular, but I am interested in just anything that looks wacky and new, which I think is obviously in the spirit of the fair. But there was this one person who messaged me. It's their first time at the fair, which is also interesting to me because I do like a first time recap at the beginning of the fair cycle, and they're doing like dessert inspired, I guess I would call elote, like corn, which it sounds so disgusting to me. It was like strawberry crunch, like the popsicle, but on the corn. And I'm like, that just sounds bizarre. And they have like a Biscoff corn too. I'm like, all right, we'll see what it is.
So let's talk about the Syracuse food scene. As I mentioned, to me, appears to be growing. There are different concepts that are popping up. The look and feel and the vibe of some of these places are now mimicking food scenes from other cities that are a little more trendy. What are your thoughts on what's happening in the dining scene in Syracuse today?
Yeah, so I think we have a couple of good indicators going on, but I do think we're just coming off of some years of pretty tough. Like you said in the beginning, this business is very hard. And so we saw a lot of opening and closing of businesses within 1 year, 2 years, which is common for restaurants. But I think some people were discouraged about that for Syracuse. But I see some really encouraging signs, which is restaurateurs in this area that have had proven success are pretty heavily investing in more restaurants, and that makes me excited for a couple of reasons. One, if they already have a successful restaurant or restaurants, they know how to run them and they know what it takes. So if they're making the business decision to invest into new spaces, that means like they're doing research, they're seeing good signs. So
Right.
The owners of Incas and Margaritas, the owners of Apiza, the owners of Bull and Bear, they're just all launching new things, and I love their businesses already because they just know how to run them right. So that makes me super excited. I think that's a good sign, and I think we still have some ways to go with the general population of Onondaga County kind of expecting a higher bar for restaurants. But I think as we see more development in the area, more people coming into the area because of like Micron, we'll probably see that bar starting to raise and push our scene into kind of a more, better level, like bigger cities.
Yeah. Do you think it's an attractive scene for younger professionals?
The just Syracuse or the food scene?
The food scene, night scene. Well, nightlife. I think there's a little controversy going on around about the potential night scene, but at least the dining and bar scene.
Yeah, I think it depends on where the people are coming from. I was just scrolling TikTok for a while today because I was getting like a lot of Syracuse creators, and there was mixed signals I've been seeing. So young people posting on TikTok about like, did you know this is so cool? I didn't know Syracuse had the whiskey coupe. It's kind of a lounge vibe. Oh, I didn't know they had this. So there's that kind of positive buzz, but then there's also people who are like, I'm from New York City and I'm like scared, like what's happening here? So it depends on where they're coming from, but it's definitely attractive to people like in Binghamton and the small cities that don't really have much going on.
So, we've determined, that you're probably about 40 some odd restaurants in. What have been some of your favorites to date?
Oh, there is a lot of favorites, but some that come off top to my head is Kebab Guys and Fairmount. They're also the closest of my favorite restaurants to me, so I've tried them a lot, and they're great. They're Palestinian owned. The food bangs. The rice is crack. Incas downtown, I had mentioned them before. I really, really like them. The ceviche is really good. Their cocktails are great. It's somewhere I bring people if they're visiting because it's very nice. Eden, the vibe is a bit low key. They can make a perfect steak, so that's pretty great. So I have to put them up. And then Dosa Grill is had my heart for the last probably 15 years now. So
I've seen those episodes.
Yeah, I've posted a lot about them just because I love them. And then I'll have to say Thai Thai. My girl Jenny at Thai Thai is.
Where is that?
On the Boulevard.
Okay.
It's probably the only good thing on the Boulevard.
Okay.
Erie Boulevard needs help, but
yes.
I feel like businesses go there to die, but not Thai Thai. The food is awesome. The owner, it has a mean mug, but she's actually super sweet, and I love the food there.
Very cool. So you have a very close cousin comes to town and is going to venture out to dine. Where are you telling them to avoid?
To avoid? Oh yeah. Okay. So I thought a little bit about this because, of course, that could be something that people want to know. One place, and I'm going to say this in the spirit of pushing our city to strive a little bit higher with our expectations. Downtown, Sakana Ya is a conveyor belt sushi place. They're very disappointing. I've been there many times, so I feel like I have a good judge of it. The conveyor belt the options are very limited, and all the rolls are very similar, and the quality is just very mid. The service is awkward. The dining room ambiance leaves a lot to be desired, but you can order off the menu, so the food's a little bit better. But my kind of whole point with it is like that's a primo spot downtown.
Right.
I feel like they survived because they've been around forever.
Well, I was going to say I've lived in this town long enough to remember when it was actually pretty good.
Yeah, I feel like my taste buds have also changed, so it's hard for me to know when I was really young.
There's been a fall off for sure.
But yeah, I'm like, we had like a $200 gift card that we bought when they were doing that like stimulus program. I don't know if you remember, but so we went there a lot, and I was like, I remembered this being so good. But yeah, for a premium downtown spot, we have to raise the bar.
Right. What else? Any others come to mind? Don't.
One other.
Or just be. We won't say don't go, but be cautious.
No, I'm saying go and complain because we need to push these people in a better direction. There's one place, it's called Azteca Mexican Grill. We have a lot of Mexican around. I haven't been to quite all of them, but I looked it up before I hopped on this podcast, and they have a 4.5 star rating on Google. And that disturbs me as like a person, because I'm just like, that's disturbing to me, and like what people are, cool with around here. It's okay. I don't always have to eat the best of the best food,
right?
But like, they should be like a 4 star. That's fine,
right?
And it's not good. Like, it really just somebody needs to say something to them so that they can push to be better. Because no.
Well, in the thing that bothers me in this particular economy, when dollars are tight, if you are going to venture out, you want that to mean something, right? There's nothing worse than coming out of pocket significantly for a meal and having it be underwhelming. It's like whenever I think I could have done better at home, that's when I know I should not have spent my money.
Yeah.
Are there restaurants that you've not hit yet that are on your sort of to-do list in short order?
A couple. I really want to try a Pizza's new place. They're in Fayetteville. They opened kind of like a Roman-inspired cafe and restaurant. The restaurant side's not open yet, but I definitely want to get out there. I like those European cafe vibes. And then Peacock is a new place in the Inner Harbor. They actually were up in like Cicero, Syracuse for a few years, and then I think it's been like 2 years, and now they've reopened, same name, similar concept. So I want to give them a try too.
I went there last week.
Oh yeah, thoughts?
Thoughts are I should have ordered something else. I don't think my stomach was ready for a lot of fried food there.
Okay.
But the bite was pretty decent. They have some really crazy cocktails.
Yeah, that was like their thing.
Yeah, I didn't get them, but I saw them making. There was a slice of cake on top of a cocktail, big scoop of ice cream or sherbet in one cocktail. The espresso martini I had was magnificent. It was very good. Yeah.
I'm interested to see how those over-the-top cocktails do, because I feel like that was definitely a trend that's kind of like gone down, but it's still visually appealing, so we'll see.
But it was, it's aesthetically pleasing environment. The vibe was very nice. It made you feel like you were stepping out for the evening, so I really appreciated it.
Oh, that's good.
Yeah, so I'd be interested in hearing your thoughts when you finally do go. Any final thoughts for us?
Not really. This is my first time doing any kind of podcast related to food and what I do, so it's been kind of fun. I feel like I have a lot of opinions on food, on hospitality, and I am limited to my like 60 to 90 second platform that I've decided to be on, so it's nice to have a long form discussion.
Yeah, and you mentioned hospitality. We should mention that you do from time to time really talk about the service and rate the service that you're actually getting, just beyond the taste of the food, which I think is a good service to provide.
Thank you. Yeah, I observe a lot of those kind of things, and it's kind of hard to decide what to include in videos because there's a lot. There's like how the hostess greets you when you walk in. Like there's a lot of little things that I think people might think is nitpicking, but they all go into like a hospitality experience that matters. So.
Well, thanks for spending time with us. If you want to keep up with where Alicia is eating, you can follow her on Instagram and TikTok at The Eating Club Girl. Thank you, Alicia.
Of course. Thank you so much.